UFC Columbus, episode 3.
You want to do it? Yeah.
UFC Columbus, episode 3 of the Hurt Sportsbook is a go. Welcome on, everybody, to quite a... I'm gonna be honest, not as good, probably, like, on paper, not as good as a card as these past.
It's just hard to, like, to them. It's a big week
especially,
in the MMA world.
And then this is the last one, too, before they go into a week break, and then I believe next is the pay-per-view, right?
God, we're really going to be having a fun time next week trying to figure out what to talk about. No, honestly, MMA has been pretty interesting this week. Do you want to... I feel like we should get into this first, before the picks. So, obviously, Jorge Masvidal was arrested for assaulting Colby Covington outside the Poppy Steakhouse in Miami. I know obviously, like, you know it happened, and I know you know it happened, but we haven't talked about, like, what you thought of it. So I'm just curious, what did you think of all this when you saw it?
It's pretty sad, honestly, on Jorge's part. I pretty much agree with what you said on your story that one day, talking about, like, I understand, you don't put other people's family, like, names in your mouth and whatnot. There's no right for another person to speak on any of that. But, there's a time and a place. There already was a time and a place for Jorge to, take it to Colby, just lay it all out on him. But I mean, sometimes it's just not even with, like, fighters in general or Jorge Masvidal. It's just it's pretty much athletes as a whole that, don't really get, like, the concept that, they're kind of under a microscope. Yeah. There's a camera on them, like, pretty much at all times, and you really. And then
he did also post about it. He kind of snitched on himself. Dude, I've been laughing at the memes that have come out of this. Honestly, it's been hilarious.
Oh yeah, you don't ever have to worry about that.
Yeah, MMA memes are always great. But literally though, like, I saw he pleaded, like, not guilty. I'm like, how? I'm like, there's multiple eyewitness accounts. Sense. There's video footage of, like. He also, like I said, he literally bragged about it on Instagram. Like, yeah, he didn't directly say I punched him in the face, but, like, come on.
I think that's just out of spite for Colby, just, like, how much he just despises this guy.
It's just so like, for me, like, I agree with what you were saying. Obviously, I talked about this on the Instagram, but, like, it's just even if it was just, like, an actual street fight and Colby, like, squared up and Masvidal did that, I wouldn't have cared. I'd be like, all right. That he deserved that, but
yeah, it was.
It's the fact, and that's what makes it look a little weaker to me, because, like, I think of that and I say to myself, well, less than, like, 2 weeks ago or around that, like, you were getting 50-44'd by this guy, and you had 25 minutes to do whatever you wanted completely legally, and you couldn't do it. And, like, and this is the thing I also hate about, like, certain managers in MMA, and, like, I'm not saying that his manager's a bad manager, but, like, the cheerleader aspect of it. Like, you see the footage of them in the locker room after that fight, and he's like, he just out-wrestled you, bro. Like, it's 50%.
He beat you then.
He beat you. You think, like, wrestling is 50% of the game. Like, you can't just, like, ignore that. Like, if you don't want that part, go to boxing.
We talked about it on the episode of Her Handbook, too, about Jorge. Like, all right, respect. He understood, like, he's got, like, if he wants
this
to
isn't even
around,
against him. Like, it's just because, and even in that clip, like, Jorge doesn't say anything to that. It's like, it's just the manager saying that to him. But it's just, that's, like, my point. Like, it's just trying to, like, stroke his ego. And then, like, guys like that are probably convincing him to do stupid things like this. And now, like I said, he got arrested, and who knows what's going to happen with the charges. I mean, obviously, Masvidal's got money to deal with it, but who knows how spiteful Colby's going to be with it. But I don't know. I just didn't like the optics of running up behind him and sucker punching him when you just got beat by him, like, a couple weeks before. Like, and then they're trying to act like they won something off that. Like, I don't...
Man.
Well, I think a lot of people kind of see through it, and, like, yeah, you could think that Colby deserved it. That's one thing. Like, I'm not saying that he didn't, but it's just, like, when you look at the situation and the way that it played out.
There's a time and a place.
Yeah, exactly.
There already was a time and a place.
Yeah, and he had his chance. Like, it's not, and there's this like narrative that Colby Covington was on top of him like the whole time. Like they were on the feet like a decent. Like he did drop Colby. They were on the feet enough for him to get like damage off. He even said it himself. He was worried more about the takedown, and that's not like. I don't understand why that's like a bad thing. It's weird because like Masvidal did like a really like kind of not smart thing here, like kind of dumb, but at the same time, like he doesn't make excuses for why he lost, so I don't even see why he would do something like that. That's why I think it's like an outside influence.
And it's just funny how this ties around to like Jorge's family and all that and whatnot, but this just isn't like it's ironic because this is a pretty like bad like
For all the people who thought this beef was fake, I hope they're all like shutting up now because that's what proved it. And I'm curious to see what you think of this too, because there's a little conspiracy theory that's thrown around that I think might have some validity to it. You think the Nelk boys set Colby up for that? You think that they like they were hanging out with him, they knew like, and they told him where he was just to like have that interaction on their plate, I guess.
Honestly, I
don't think they did, but I could see it. You get what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you. I could see it too, but I'm not. Yeah, I don't know for sure. But
if they weren't like as big as UFC fans as they are, and MMA fans in general, like I would probably think that they did do that. But the fact that they're like such hardcore fans, they're at a lot of the fight nights. I don't think that they would do something stupid like that, especially considering like if Masvidal really like knocked him down, like you could die from that. Like you could literally crack your head open on the pavement. And this is another thing that I thought was funny, like that I think it was an eyewitness account. They said that Colby took like 4 clean punches, and they were like, "It's amazing. He wasn't even affected." I thought that was so funny for some reason. I'm like, man, he sucker punched him and apparently landed clean 4 times. He still didn't do that. I'm like, that's gotta suck. But it's just like that's what I'm saying. It's just a sad situation.
It really is.
I don't like the way it looks, and like you got like all these MMA stars getting arrested, and that just doesn't help the image of MMA in general. But
I think also part of why I think like the Nelk boys it's a possibility. I don't think they did though, because
I think they like the sport. They wouldn't want to harm it like
and like
that.
Also like their friendship with Dana, like
that would definitely screw shit up. Yeah. I mean, definitely. I think if Batman was there, nothing would have happened.
Oh yeah, no. Bruce Wayne would never let that happen.
Yeah, I think we gotta talk about this.
Putting the whole city of Gotham on his back.
Yeah, well, obviously this is an MMA show, but we gotta talk about the Batman. That movie was so good. I mean, it had like moments where like I thought it was kind of like Copycat in the Dark Knight, like a little too much. Yeah,
the beginning, right?
Like the interrogation room scenes and stuff, and then they have like all the little homages and all that. I'm like. It was good. Like, it was good enough that I didn't really care, and like the movie around it was also really good. But I thought like Rob Pattinson's Batman was awesome.
Yeah, it's a good plot, and obviously like superhero movie. You obviously need the villain as well to you need it takes two to dance.
I'm a big fan of Paul Dano, dude.
I really like
he's a great actor. The Riddler, dude.
I thought it was Like, it's fun because obviously the riddle, like, nothing's supposed to be simple. You're supposed to, like...
I was saying to myself, if you remember the one scene where, like, I won't get into it because it'll spoil it, actually, so...
Oh, yeah,
it's a little too soon.
No spoil it.
Well, it doesn't spoil it, but, like, it's a big moment, so I'm not going to talk about it. But, in general, though, like, that was just an awesome movie. Like, it definitely lived up to, like, my expectations of it. I'm, like, a big fan of Paul Dano as it is, so, like, when I saw that he was playing the Riddler, I knew that was going to be good, and it was. And then you got Catwoman, dude, like... Great actress though too, honestly. Amazing. I never actually like watched her in any of her movies, like even though I knew who she was. But she was really good in this one. That was honestly like this movie was like perfectly casted. I think that's mainly what it was. Yeah. And I like the layout of like the cinematography.
I wonder how long it's been in like production for.
That's a good question. I feel like it's been in production for a minute. Like they've been talking about it, I think, since like the beginning of the pandemic.
I would think so.
It definitely ended up looking really good. I mean,
I feel like it came out at a perfect time too. Like pretty much the pandemic's like in the past and all, like everyone's out like going to theaters and stuff again.
Yeah, it was cool. It was like a cool little atmosphere, and like our theater, like because obviously we waited like a couple weeks, but it was like kind of crowded, but we picked like a good spot to sit.
Yeah, we were just in front of everybody.
It was pretty good. Like I felt like we were alone in the theater, even though there were people like everywhere behind us, just because we were kind of towards the front. But man, I figured we'd give that movie a shout out. It relates to martial arts. Batman was hitting those guys in the subway station with some clean elbows.
If you haven't seen it, then all the fight scenes you'll see what we're talking about.
No, there's definitely some clean Muay Thai by Batman in the subway scene. Those clinch elbows, dude.
When he's trying to jump on, he's trying to get onto the bus, I believe it was, and he just eats it. Just wipes out. That movie just gets back up like, oh, that just happened.
Yeah, man, that movie was so good. But yeah, we definitely highly recommend it. But I guess enough of the other nonsense. We could probably get into the card now.
And so
it was a big week. It was a big week.
No, for sure, dude. I think it was a conversation worth having for sure.
100%.
Just like one more thing to touch on about the whole Jorge Colby thing.
Yeah, you know, if Batman was there, nothing would have happened. I mean, he would have been lurking in the shadows. Masvidal would have run up behind, and then he would have been like, "No assaulting!" Immediately just take him down. That's another thing I liked about that movie, though. The way that I don't think this is a spoiler either. Like the way that they would like reveal him in all of his scenes, like just out of nowhere. I always thought that was cool. But I think that's how he would have popped up in the Masvidal Covington incident, and then maybe the police wouldn't have had to get involved.
No.
They would have both been having a little bit of a better week. Colby would still have a tooth, and Masvidal would not have been arrested. That video was just sad, man. The whole like walking out or running out.
Mess could have been avoided.
Yeah, if Batman was simply just in the 305 outside Poppy Steakhouse.
When you get to a certain point in life, people, you just gotta know how to move.
That is true.
Jorge Masvidal did not move correctly.
No.
And that's pretty much it.
I hope nothing bad comes out of it, though. And I feel like maybe nothing will.
Hopefully not. I don't know, man. That's pretty crazy. Like, I don't
know enough about, like, the legal stuff in Florida in order to, like, accurately say what's going to happen here.
Has there been some, like, obviously you have fighters that, like, genuinely don't like each other and all that, but I don't think I've ever seen something like
a genuine assault.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he did that to Leon Edwards, too, in England, and then I think of when...
Oh, that's right.
You remember when John Jones, too, and Daniel Cormier, when, like, John, like, grabbed them by the throat or something, they were both, like, fighting on the stage, they pushed that poor man, that poor small dude in the back, pushed him right off the stage. He's trying to stop John Jones. John Jones just went... threw him to the side. That was so bad. But
I was seeing comments, and I assume like they're just jokes, not because the MMA, like ever since I've like really like ushered into the MMA community and all that through social media, like it's a really like just like wise like fan base and like just group of people. So I'm assuming it's a joke, yeah. But I saw comments, guys, like because like Leon Edwards didn't press charges.
Yeah, it's true. I agree with that.
I don't care. I'm pressing charges.
Well, because Colby's Colby, so if he does it, I don't really care. But like, I understand where all the other fighters are coming from because like he shouldn't press charges. Like, come on, like nothing happened. Like he also said he was doing a little flex because I'm sure he knew this was going to come out. He goes, yeah, he did $15,000 worth of damage on my $90K Rolex. I was like, oh, of course he had to say that. Man, like I'm saying, this is like the reason why I think Colby is just awesome. But like, I like Masvidal too. That's why I just think it's like an unfortunate situation. I wish it just didn't play out this way. But
it's like a sitcom at this point with these two.
Yeah, I know.
It's pretty sad.
I don't know what'll happen from here with them, but the other thing I actually want to talk about before we get right before we get in. This doesn't have to be long. This is more like a statement.
Yeah.
But like I was so like not like mad, but it was just like frustrating on Instagram yesterday. And I was like looking through like the ESPN MMA, like all those pages and like on my feed, and you see the like the thing with Habib. Well, Habib, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, the fact that people actually think that was, like, Habib saying what they were saying, like, come on.
Yeah, it's obviously Ali.
Yeah, like, I just, like, it's annoying because it fools, like, the casual audience, which at the end of the day is kind of the bigger part of it.
And, like, I
just don't like that. It's, like, I don't know. It's, like, a slimy move because it's, like, nobody cares like when you're saying it. So then you gotta like use someone else's clout to spread your opinion, which no one cares.
Seriously.
Like I just like,
man, that really is a way of
it made me mad. I don't know. I don't like that type of thing. Like I'm not. And again, like it's the same thing that I think about Jorge's manager. Like I don't think he's like a bad manager or anything. I think he's great at his job. Honestly, like I respect what he's doing. He's got a good hustle there. But like I don't know. Like I just like. It's honestly not even him. It's more like the MMA media sites because they should know better.
Yeah.
Like you've seen this before. Like even the fighters make jokes about Usman's. Like so he's like, man, get out of my Twitter, Ollie. Like it's just like a joke. Like it's not like it's a bad thing. It's like he just uses it to spread like his own opinions and like boost his fighters' profiles. Like that's what a manager should do. You know what I mean? But it's just MMA media, man. Like this is what I'm saying. Like, that's why I'm glad we're breaking into this, and I feel like we could really make an impact because sometimes like they'll ask good questions, but then on other times like they just have little like only like little to no self-awareness because like you gotta know in this case that like. When have you ever heard Habib say significantly affect? like he speaks broken English and his English has gotten so much better. But like, when have you ever heard him say that? Like, come on.
No.
It's just like I wanted to make that known. Like for anybody who actually like thought that was Habib. Like I mean, it's possible that it was. I'm not. I mean. No. But it's not. I just don't see it.
Habib like actually cared enough, like he would take control of his own social media.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think he's really concerned about it. Like I don't think he cares what Colby thinks about him. You know what I mean? So he's not interested in that whole deal. He's busy with Eagle FC, which I don't think we've talked about much. But that's like, I've been watching like the American cards. It's been like pretty cool so far. Honestly, I've been enjoying it.
Eagle FC.
Yeah, his it's free too. Like this sounds like a stupid like red ad, but like it's not though. Like literally, like the website that you can watch it on, like the app is completely free. You can watch it online on your phone. It's like it's no gimmicks. Like it's actually free. And they have like all his events on them. It's honestly been fun to watch. Like a lot of exciting fights. But speaking of exciting fights, we've got a lot of tangents. Let's actually get into the name of this podcast, the actual Sportsbook.
Yeah, you know,
let's talk about this week's
something
fights.
like that where we talk about a bunch of numbers and fighters. Anyways,
sounds familiar.
This card, I think it has like, in the sense like a little bit of everything. Like you have your obviously the pay up guys. You have I think some pretty decent, like in terms of like the odds and whatnot. I think there's definitely like a lot to get into in terms of like value and whatnot, and even one even money fight. I remember between who it was exactly, but we'll get into it. And
whatever order you want to go in, man, I'm down.
And yeah, that's really it. A lot of ways for some fighters to get it done this week. And one of those that I wanted to touch on from the get, mainly, I mean, we usually go from the main event, like, down and whatnot.
We don't even have to, especially because we always run back to the main event anyway at the end with our actual predictions.
Exactly.
So, like, the order doesn't matter. And, like, I'm sure people have realized that at this point. We like to skip around. And, like, it's just, it makes it more organic.
But, one of these fights I'm talking about, just not really even money or whatnot, but just a straight like pick 'em, or that's not even really, but it's close enough to where it is definitely worth talking about in terms of their price tags and whatnot. Between Matus Nicolau and David Dvorak.
Oh, I like this fight. I'm actually eager to talk about it. But hey man, I'll allow you first.
Dvorak I'll get into Dvorak in just a sec. Big fan of him this week. But Nicolau and DK, we're coming in at $7,800, $14 on FanDuel. Dvorak, $8,417, and just simple enough. I think Dvorak he has the edge here if he can avoid the ground game of Nicolau. And I think his ground game is good enough to maybe stuff some takedowns or whatnot. But however which way this may go, so you have him as a plus 130 Dvorak to win by decision on DraftKings, and it's not that much different on FanDuel. And then it's the finishing props that are a bit more like out of the reach. But even in 8,400, even in decision victor, I think he lands enough. Does enough. Gets I feel like a unanimous decision unanimous decision victory is probably the most likely.
The other thing about Dvorak is, like, he is on one of the craziest unknown hot streaks I think I've ever seen. This man has not lost a fight in 10 years. Since 2012. I looked that up this morning. I was like, because I think it was Dan Hardy I saw said that
like
it was
a professional.
He's on a set like a huge win streak. I don't know like the exact number.
That's unbelievable.
But he has not lost in like about 10 years. So like just keep that in mind that this man is on a crazy hot streak. And like Nicolau's really good too. Honestly, I have like a lot of faith in him. But like, and it's
I think it's a great.
I think this it should be a
really
close fight. I'm glad like it is like on the odds, but. This is definitely I think it's gonna be like a high level type of fight. Mm-hmm. Like I'm really intrigued for this matchup.
Exactly. I think even if you want to go with I don't know. Dvorak probably is gonna be at least decently popular, not that much, but Nicolau definitely won't. Even Nicolau I think is worth getting some exposure to. You can get maybe like I just talked about his ground game if he can get the takedown and whether that's just lay on Dvorak or just get it done there. There's obviously a lot of value to be had in that. Nicolau is a plus 225 on DraftKings. Well, he's actually, I didn't talk about the money line odds, and Dvorak's a minus, which is obviously the most important thing when it comes to talking about this. But plus 105 for Nicolau on DK, and minus 125 for Dvorak. So, like, legit, like, this could change to a literal pick'em, like, by the time we get into the fight. Tomorrow, and at that point it's just like it's all bets are off. Like at that point you can't really. I don't think you can really go wrong with either of these guys in general. I just personally I'm siding with Dvorak.
Yeah, same here, honestly, and it's mainly because of the momentum. Like once I saw that this guy has like the craziest win streak I think in the UFC, I was like, yeah, I mean. You just got to ride that momentum. Like I'm sure has a crazy amount of confidence. Considering he hasn't lost in like the past decade. So I don't know. I just like with things like that, like fights that are this close, like on paper, I kind of like lean towards momentum, and I think that Dvorak has all the momentum,
hands down.
But it's definitely like a good fight. Like either of them are capable of winning it.
Yeah, I think he just lands more and just scores really well through 3 rounds, and we'll see. Maybe I think unanimous decision victory is.
These guys are like pretty. Is it flyweight? I think it's flyweight, right?
That I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure they're like pretty low. It's like either flyweight or bantamweight. I'm watching me look them up like heavyweights, but no, I'm like they're pretty small. Let me see, because now I want to know. Just because like that's definitely worth noting for the finish.
We've got Nicolau's. So yeah, there's the.
It is flyweight.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean that's the other thing to keep in mind at flyweight. Like sometimes the finishes are a little harder to come by, kind of like we talked about, like with the smaller girl weight classes.
Yeah.
Just because there's less like pop on a lot of their punches and kicks, so like it's just more. It's kind of rare. Well, it's not rare, but like you're not going to see as many flash knockouts at flyweight. But who knows? Maybe we'll see one here.
We shall see, but. Yeah, that's pretty much I mean, just touch on Nicolau's like submission props real quick, because it's actually not that bad. Like I said, if you can get to the ground and get Dvorak there, then plus 600 to win by submission on DK, plus 550 in FanDuel. There could probably be some good money behind that, but not my favorite bet of this card by any means. And yeah,
you know what other flyweight fight on this card I'm looking forward to? Not anything to do with betting, just because of the matchup. Askar Askarov versus Kai Kara.
Oh, yeah, I can't wait to talk about that one either.
What are some of the numbers on that one? I'm just curious.
Because that one is a great one. And Askar, I mean, it's probably how you would.
Yeah, I'm assuming. Yeah. I feel like I know what you're gonna say. I've checked it out like a little bit, but I kind of forgot.
So Askar Askarov's 9,100 on DraftKings. Kai Kara France 7,100. $21 for Askarov on FanDuel, $9 for Kara France on FanDuel as well. Yeah. And
I think Askarov is like a safe bet.
He's a minus 410 money line.
Like we talked about those over like 9K guys that you want, like just because they're going to provide. Like this is one of those ones that, barring a knockout, I think like he'll probably get the job done. I didn't know this. I heard about this week, and I'm sure I heard it before, but I kind of forgot. But Askar Askarov, I don't think he's like fully deaf, but he is apparently like very hearing impaired, which is kind of crazy because that means he can't hear his corner.
Yeah.
So that, like, in my opinion, like it speaks to his fight IQ because if you can like if you're not even hearing the advice your corner's giving you, know where you have to be in there. So like I just give him so much credit for that, and I think that since Kai Kara France is like such
Honestly,
a brawler,
I think Kai Kara France
get taken down probably.
I think Kai Kara France is the one who needs to be like the one who needs to have the awareness here, because
but like that's just not how he fights. Like, and that's not like a detriment.
He needs
thing,
to.
but
I simply put, he needs this to stay on the feet if he wants any chance of
that's
winning
true.
this fight.
Askarov's got decent striking though too. I'm pretty sure he's got good kicks.
That's.
But the thing is, like, Kai Kara France, like the type of striker he is, he's trying to like brawl and hit you with bombs. And I think like fighting like that is going to get him out of position.
Credit, like he's been landing them, and he's been getting results because of.
Yeah, man, this is like a whole another level.
Yeah,
and like
another level.
Because I think Askarov, like I was saying with the fight IQ, I think like that leads to such good timing, like on his takedowns, and he has like pretty good control against the fence too. I just think that he'll be able to dominate this fight.
Yeah,
he can get caught definitely, because Kara France does have that type of power. Like I'm kind of contradicting myself because I said don't really look for many finishes in flyweight, but if there's anybody who actually has a lot of knockouts at flyweight, it's Kai Kara France, like you were just saying. But I don't know. I can't see him landing that in this fight. I don't think Askarov's gonna get himself in a position like he's gonna get hit like that.
Kai Kara France does not want that work on the ground. For one, like if he gets taken down whatever round it is, really, to be honest, I think that changes like the entire fight.
Yeah, he has to pop back up. If he doesn't get back, like that's one of those things you'll be able to tell pretty early, because like if it's round 1 and Askarov gets him down like within the first minute and he holds him down for like 3, that's kind of a sign that it's probably going to continue. Like it's kind of hard to stop that. And he's one of those guys who's just relentless. Like he's gonna keep coming. And I'm a big fan of Askarov, honestly. Yeah, so this is a fun fight. I'm really excited for it.
Dude.
I think this should be the co-main event. I don't know how it isn't. I know like Wood versus Grasso is a good fight, but this could be a main event, honestly, in my opinion. Like for the stakes of it, because I think it's a title eliminator. Because they're working on Figueiredo Moreno. I think in July they're going to do the 4th one, which is pretty cool, actually.
Okay.
I kind of like that. And then, that'll pass the time for these guys to recover after this fight. Sure. And, like, I think this is #1 contender fight. Me, personally. That's my thought process on it.
Fair enough. Well, yeah, I mean, I agree with you in terms of, like, these 9K options here. I think Askarov is my favorite one as well. Just going through.
Who are some of the other 9K ones if you want to move to, like, another one?
Not that many. You got Curtis Blades, Alexa Grasso, and Mano Firo.
Those are all actually interesting fights. It's up to you. We can talk about whatever one you want.
Yeah, I mean, I might as well just hit on Mano Firo real quick. Great, obviously a great matchup for her with Jennifer Maia.
Yeah, I think stylistically it's good for her. That's like what it is.
Really. I think the UFC just really likes Firo, and when they want to push her, they want to. Yeah,
she's good. I'm not as sold on her as I am with like guys like Aspinall and like people. Well, Cyril Gane's kind of proved it at this point, but obviously you remember back when he was rising, I was huge on him, but with her, like, I remember watching her last fight, and, like, everybody's, like, really impressed by her striking, and I am, too. Like, the way she sets it up is amazing, but, like, she does get hit sometimes, and, like, it doesn't seem to affect her as much because she's good with, like, rolling with the punches, but, like, I'm not even saying, I think she's going to win this fight, like, because, like I said, stylistically, it's just a good matchup. Like, Jennifer Maia isn't as clean of a striker as she is, and I think is it Fiorot? I think it's Fiorot. But the way that, like, she just always is coming forward. It's such a relentless style of striking, and I'm pretty sure she has a reach advantage too. And just I think that she's going to be able to like brutally pick Jennifer Maia apart, just walking her down, just like I said, beating her up pretty much on the feet.
Yeah, it was a good fight to transition to from the Askarov Kara France fight too, because Mano Firo's even more of a favorite to win. Which, understandably so.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, actually. I mean, because when I was thinking about it, when I thought about it more and more, that's when I picked Fiorot in my head. But, like, people are kind of, in a way, like, sleeping on Jennifer Maia. Like, there's not too many people who are better than her in that division. But, like I said, that being said, I still think Fiorot is going to win. But it's just, like, I find like the disrespect of like Jennifer Maya's like accomplishments
Yeah.
and the people she's fought and even beaten. Like I don't like how people are just kind of like swiping that under the rug with this. Like I don't think it's that foregone of a conclusion. Although like I said, I do think Fiorot should win, but it's not like as certain as I think maybe certain other fights are. You know what I mean?
For sure. And
this fight will prove it though, I think. Like if she runs through Jennifer Maia, I'm sold. That'll sell it for me.
Yeah, for one, she's the most expensive. She's the most expensive fighter on the card as well. So I mean, you're rostering her in the sense that you're expecting a finish, and
I wouldn't. I mean, yeah, I could see it actually. Maybe.
I just don't really know why you would forgo like a Curtis Blades for even $200 cheaper with.
Do you want to get into that? I feel like we can get into that, like, because I feel like this fantasy thing.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, sure. We can do. I kind of want to transition to because it's kind of similar with Alexa Grasso and.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, that's true. Actually, same division too.
Mm-hmm, for sure, and yeah, you got Alexa Grasso as a pretty. If I can, as a pretty significant favorite, say minus 255 on DraftKings. She's 9K as well, and I think she's obviously similar to Ferro in the sense that she should get. I'm just.
She has really good boxing.
Yeah,
like Ferro is more like Muay Thai style.
I think you can get a lot more maybe not a lot more, but more significant strikes and whatnot landed from Alexa Grasso than maybe Manon Ferro.
She's very fast. Like that's what I like about Alexa Grasso. Like her boxing is like so underrated in my opinion, and she's really well rounded too. Like she can get the takedown if she needs to against Joanne Wood, because like Joanne's really good on the feet too. But I think that Alexa Grasso's boxing though is probably better than Joanne's striking, like in total.
Yeah.
And plus just her overall game. Like I think if she needs to get it to the ground, she'll be able to get it to the ground too. So I think like I'm glad to see that she actually is like kind of like a favorite, at least like with the with their prices on like the two apps. But what are some of the odds for this fight?
Yeah, like I said, Grasso's minus 255 on DraftKings. Okay. I don't think that's a bad bet at all.
No.
And then Collarwood plus 205 to that's our money line odds. And then Alexa Grasso is a minus 135 to win by decision. Joanne Wood is plus 330.
Yeah, I think that Grasso will probably win by decision, but I can't really be too sure because I don't really know like where JoJo is at, because she's kind of had like a rough patch lately. So who knows like where her confidence is, and like I always say this, like people who are smart in the cage and like just smart outside of it too, I feel like they have like a harder time rebounding from losses because they think a lot. And like I kind of get that, because she's an intelligent fighter and she's like been around for a while, and so like I know that she definitely like can feel that pressure, I would think. But yeah, I think that this is just a tough matchup for her though. I think that Alexa Grasso is just really good, and I think this is a good fight for her to prove it.
Sure. So yeah, in terms of like just like comparing her to Manon Ferro in a way,
I think it's a good comparison, honestly. It's more like they're both like really good strikers. It's more just like two different striking styles because, like I said, Grasso's boxing and then Fiorot has got the Muay Thai style. But they're both like very effective with it. I think that they're both pretty good picks, honestly.
Yeah, and then just to like from like an example, like the odds on Manon Ferro to win are, significantly higher than Alexa Grasso. So, yeah, just like I said, like I've touched on before, just always keep an eye on these numbers, how they move and whatnot, and then that's giving you all you need in terms of like what's the best value to target and whatnot.
Yeah.
And yeah, obviously ownership plays a huge aspect into this as well. So Manon Ferro, I honestly think she's gonna be pretty popular, but
yeah, a lot of people like hopping on the hype trains.
I think Alexa Grasso's actually going to go under the radar a little bit. Just
That's true.
Probably, I don't know. It's probably because like I think people understand like she's likely going to win, but she's not going to do Probably not going to. There's probably not all that much going to like gonna be happening.
I think in order for like Grasso to get a finish, it would be more of like a counter shot that just lands clean, kind of like I think who was Joanne's last? It was Talia Santos, right? So that was like one of those cases like where she just kind of like got caught on the end of a punch and just that it could happen here, but I don't think Grasso has as much power as Santos. Like, as you know, I think Santos is one of the better people that Valentina has faced in a long time. Like, because that fight's coming up, so I can't wait for that. But yeah, I think that Alexa Grasso though just has a better like style to win this fight. But
well, that being said, we might as well just get into the last 9K fighter of the entire card, and Curtis Blades taking on the surging Chris Daukaus.
I like it, like this pick, just because I know he's gonna have the stats if he wins. Because if he wins, it's gonna be takedown after takedown after takedown, and those are 5 points, and then you got to factor in the control time and his ground and pound, man. Like, he hits people with vicious elbows. Dude. Like, have you seen his finish over Overeem? Yeah, like that's a brutal one. That's all that tells you all you need to know.
But, you gotta love some Curtis Blades this week, dude. I mean,
I'm a big Chris Daukaus fan, but it's just a bad matchup.
Yeah, me too. It's like, damn, like I don't want to see Chris Daukaus like this much of an underdog, and like
I don't like it either, because it's like he's kind of like a rising prospect, and like this is like 2 straight tough matchups, like. Because Derek Lewis, I kind of figured would beat him, just because like he was fast and all that, but he would keep his head in the pocket. And so I was like, well, if Derek Lewis hits him, it's over. And that's what pretty much happened. But in this case, I just don't think we've seen enough of his ground game, like against this high level of a wrestler. And I think Curtis Blades is so good, like overall, like in terms of his, like, in the way of being like well-rounded. Just because, like, I'm impressed by the way that he is able to, like, set up different things with feints. Because, like, he'll either be feinting a takedown, and then he'll use that to land, like, an overhand, and he has power.
I think that's the play. That's if not one of the most dangerous thing about someone as well-rounded as Curtis Blades. Because, like, you just don't know. Exactly.
Like,
you're preparing for one thing.
Like, he's very improved. That's, like, what it is. Like, he used to be very, like, kind of one-dimensional. Like, he would only be going for the takedowns, but this added element of his power and like his decent, like pretty good stand up at this point. Like, I think that Chris Daukaus just isn't going to know what's coming. And I think that like he's relatively inexperienced compared to Curtis Blades, who's fought a lot of heavy hitters like Chris Daukaus. And honestly, like I said, I think the feints are going to play a big part in this fight, because I think either A, he's going to be expecting the takedown, he'll get hit with one of those bombs, and I think that Curtis does have the power to put him away, or he'll be able to take some of the shots, and eventually he'll kind of like expect the overhand, and then he'll just get taken down. And then it's ground and pound city from there. So it's just like, I just don't see a lot of ways for Daukaus to win. Like, I still think he has like places where he can improve. And I think that this is like too like elite of a fighter for him to like get past this time, honestly.
For sure.
But this is, if I play it this week, which I'm not sure if I will, honestly, but that's what I said last week and I ended up doing it. But Curtis Blades would definitely be like one of my picks, even though like he's definitely going to be a popular option. But it's like I said for Askarov, it's like almost like a certainty. Like, if he wins, you're going to get a lot of points with him, even if he doesn't get a finish, just because he gets all those takedowns.
This is what I mean too. Like, you can't really go wrong with like these heavyweight main events, especially when you have a favorite as big as this one in Curtis Blades. It's just kind of like you just block it in and you kind of just move on with the rest of your day in a way. Because like once again, it's the 5-round element as well.
Yeah,
like,
so more points. And Curtis likes to drag it out too.
And exactly. You pretty much touched on it as well with the takedowns and whatnot. And how obviously that could drag out the fight as well if it's not going to stay on the feet. But yeah, I mean he's not even the most expensive option in the entire card.
I will say this for Daukaus though, like the way that he needs to fight in order to win, he has to back Curtis Blades up, because wrestling is a lot harder when you're fighting off the back foot. And I think if he can literally like just pressure him the whole time and keep him like circling up against the fence, he might have a good chance at actually landing something. But I just think the odds of him being able to successfully do that throughout the fight is just going to be too low. Like, I think Curtis Blades is so experienced and so good at this point overall, I think that he's just. I just think he deserves to be this heavy of a favorite.
Yep.
Even more than Derek Lewis kind of was when they fought.
Yeah, agreed. All right. I like it. And, well, this fight right here is going to be quite the opposite. Like, quite the opposite. And I'm pretty excited about it. Like, from a betting aspect and just a fighting standpoint in general. Like, even though from a fighting standpoint in general, like, these two guys, like, obviously are not where really even all that close to where they used to be. Okay. And I think, I'm talking about Matt Brown and Brian Barberena.
Yeah, I can't wait for this fight. That's good. It's just going to be a barn burner,
yeah, exactly. I appreciate when the UFC, like, obviously, like, you take two guys that are at the tail end of their careers and whatnot, and
I need to know something, though. Is Matt Brown more expensive? Because he should be.
Yes,
okay.
He is. He's cheaper on FanDuel. He's $1 cheaper on FanDuel. Only $200 more on DraftKings, though.
Fairly close.
This is pretty much the even money, like, pick'em fight that I was kind of alluding to the entire time. It's so close.
I get why it's even money just because everybody expects it to be a war, but the thing that I see in this fight is, like, while they both are very, like, violent fighters, Matt Brown has really technical Muay Thai, like that people sleep on because he gets in wars.
That's what I took note of too as well.
Like, Brian Barberena is there to get hit a lot, and Matt Brown is gonna hit him a lot, and he's very tough. So I don't know if I'm talking about Barberena, so I don't know if Matt Brown can finish him, but still,
someone's getting knocked out in this fight, and in that case, like, you're likely gonna need a piece of, like, either one of these guys, whoever obviously ends up.
I mean, I'll say it this early, like, if I'm playing this weekend, like, I'd probably have Matt Brown, just because, like, I have faith that he'll be able to pick him apart in, like, a brutal fashion.
Seriously, even looking at the props as well, Matt Brown to win by knockout on DraftKings is a plus 165. Like,
what about by decision? Because Barberena is very tough. Like, he's got a great chin.
He's plus 600 on both sides.
Really? By decision?
Barberena's plus 300 to win by decision.
But Matt Brown plus 600. That's actually not that bad of a bet. Because Brian Barberena, I've seen him fight a lot of heavy hitters. And he's been dropped many times. And he gets back. He's kind of like a Darren Elkins type. In the sense that sometimes, like, punch or two and knockdowns. And a couple knockdowns will wake him up. But yeah, I think that he'll be competitive in this fight, but I think Matt Brown will always be a step ahead.
I think it doesn't even have to be long. I just think it's going to be, for however long it is, like, it's going to be
every strike is going to be a significant strike.
Exactly.
That's what
There's going to be
is.
volume. These guys are going to be throwing at each other. Yeah. Probably not going to be much, like, covering up, and, like, they're going to get hit, and likely someone's going to get knocked out.
Yeah.
So in that case, obviously, once again, you're going to, yeah, we just talked about the price difference as well. Literally only $200 on DraftKings.
It's kind of like Dan Hooker and Arnold Allen last week. I have a similar viewpoint of it. Like, I wouldn't mind having one of these guys in my lineup because I think it'll do me good. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if I'm confident in who's going to win.
So what they call it being optimal. Like, who's likely to be in, like, the first place lineup and whatnot. And someone from this fight, I have a hard time believing is not going to be in that winning lineup. So.
For sure.
Honestly, yeah, we'll let the fight culminate. We'll see what happens. It's the fight game at the end of the day. Nothing is guaranteed.
I kind of want to move on to another fight at welterweight that I don't really know if I'm looking at as much in terms of fantasy, but just because I'm excited for the matchup. Neil Magny and Max Griffin. Yeah,
that's a great one to get into.
That's on the prelims, man. How?
I think it's because
I just don't like
that. I honestly, Max Griffin's probably not expected to do. I think Max Griffin's only path to, like, genuinely, like, legit winning this fight is, obviously with the left hand and just,
I think
like,
he
the
could
striking
hold him down,
power.
honestly, though.
Yeah,
I think his wrestling could, but I don't see it. I think it's possible.
Yeah, no, I don't.
This is how I feel about Max Griffin. Like, he's a lot better than people think he is, but like. Neil Magny is one of those guys that's just, like, a tough matchup just because he's so long and, like, he's got a great gas tank and he has, like, a weird way of pushing the pace. Like, it seems like it's a slow pace, but if you're fighting him, like, you got to think about it. He's constantly in your face, hitting you with jabs, leg kicks, going for takedowns. Like, it's a lot to expect. Like, he's really well-rounded. And Max Griffin, like, I think he's found his groove in the UFC and, like, he's been around for a bit, but I think he's finally gotten there. But the thing is, like, he's struggled against guys who fight like this in the past. Like, Dude, his UFC debut was against Colby Covington.
Max Griffin?
Yeah, like that was his debut, and he got finished. I think it was like a rear naked.
Man.
But man, like that's what I'm saying. Like he struggled a bit at first, but I think lately he's really found his groove, and I think confidence wise he's on like a high because I remember. I mean, I was in Vegas when he beat Carlos Condit, and the energy when he did that was incredible. So I mean, he's definitely like riding high, but I do think that Neil Magny just has like more tools, more experience. But what are the prices looking like on them? Actually, I'm just out of curiosity.
So we've got 8,800 for Magny, 74 for Griffin, and that's $10 difference on FanDuel as well. And then Magny is a minus 255 betting favorite. Griffin's a plus 205, and I mean, just looking at the rest of the number, I don't see like much.
I don't see much value in it, honestly.
The Magny to win by decision minus 120, like okay, like.
It's like one of those. I always say like when there's no value in like individual bets, but you think something's gonna happen, it might be a good thing to put in a parlay. And like if you think one of these guys is like certainly gonna win, maybe do that like by decision. Like,
well, for me, I think Magny's a fine like cash game play. He's not quite in the 9K range, so it's not like you're paying that kind of paper. But obviously he's pretty close to it. But I'm pretty comfortable. Like if I had to pick one fighter of this entire card to win their fight, I would probably be Neil Magny, to be honest.
I'm picking that would be Askarov for me. Obviously, I talked about that, but yeah.
Yeah, for me it's Magny. I just think it's just Max Griffin doesn't match up well with him like at all.
Yeah,
really.
It's not a good style matchup, and like I don't even think that has anything to do with how skilled Max Griffin is. Because I honestly, even if he loses this fight, I could still see him getting in that like top 15, top 10, like kind of like echelon. But I think this is a tough matchup. Neil Magny's a tough matchup for everybody because he's got cardio for days too. That's what everybody forgets. Like he'll struggle at first, but then he'll come back because he's always got a better gas tank than his opponent. So I think this is will probably be a Neil Magny decision win. Possibly split depending on if Max Griffin could get a couple takedowns and hold him down. I think this has the potential to be a close fight. But like a 29-28 type deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I would see that for sure. That would make sense. But we touched on the entire main card and whatnot, a few prelims. Just to touch on a few of the underdog picks here. I know we talked about who was it, the one underdog that we just got done talking about? It was the pick in between Brian Barberena and Matt Brown.
Right.
But
I don't even think we picked the underdog for that one. Well, I know I didn't. I don't know about you. But.
No, yeah, there's not really even an underdog right now. So I mean, that's just the one pick'em that I wanted to really get into. And as far as like the underdog picks, this isn't gonna like blow anyone away by any means. Like this is not the kind of pick that's just gonna absolutely like smash the card. But Chris Gutierrez versus Dana Bajiri.
I had a hard time picking this fight. I still honestly I'm not sure.
There you have it. That's what I'm talking about. I really don't think this is a bad spot to get to some Chris Gutierrez really at all right now. I mean, for Bajiri, like
it's tough. I mean, it's an interesting matchup to me. Can I kind of say like why I think that and why I had a tough time?
Go ahead.
Because like the guy that he's fighting, I want to read his name so I know I'm not saying it.
Dana Bajiri, I believe is how it goes.
Yeah, I'll say Dana.
Yeah, say Dana.
Basically, like Dana, he has like a lot of power for 135, and because of that, like I was kind of leaning towards him because he also has like a higher reach. So I think, or longer reach, I should say, but. I think that because of that, maybe Chris Gutierrez might have a hard time closing the distance. But the reason why I can't really be confident in that is because Chris Gutierrez, like, his leg kicks are so powerful that he might be able to take away some of that power if he can last long enough to not get knocked out.
I think that's the most important thing for him. Like, if he's going.
See, the thing is, he's like Dawkins in the sense that he'll keep his head kind of like open to be hit, which I don't like because Dana has really power. Like, he's got power. But like I said, if he can take away that power by kicking his legs and maybe hopefully survive the first couple shots that he might take, I think that he has a decent chance at winning. Maybe by decision. But Yeah, what are their price tags on
But
this?
yeah, it's a pretty sizable price gap, at least on
Yeah.
DraftKings. 8,500 for Dana and 77 for Gutierrez.
That's a decent underdog,
Exactly,
honestly, like you said, yeah.
I don't think this, it's not anything like crazily like egregious or like, you'd be really hard pressed to like put your money on this guy if you're not playing a ton of volume. But like Chris Gutierrez is just someone that you can just easily like mix and match into a few lineups and whatnot, and there could definitely, that's easily one of the better values I think on this entire card. Plus 550 on DK to win by TKO or knockout. Obviously that's for Bashareed's obviously a lot. Plus 210 on FanDuel for Dana to win by TKO knockout.
That's not too bad.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good bet.
You put a little money on that one.
I don't love. I understand the price tags and whatnot for Dana, for DFS. I just don't really think I need.
Yeah, I mean, there's
really
always
there's
always going to be the people who just like are valued the way they are, and it's just like
another thing, a guy who's not even, I don't think is, well, at least when I was putting this together, who's not even in the pool right now because obviously his opponent had to be taken out, and he's got someone stepping in on short notice.
Oh, I hope
so this fight isn't in the player pool right now, but it should be by sometime today or even tomorrow. But that's between Elias Cobb. I'm trying to remember that. Elias Cobb,
I said Kizriev.
Kizriev. We're taking on Dennis.
Everything on Kizriev. Everything. It's it. Like, that's all you need to say.
So when he gets at, because they're both he's in FanDuel. He's 22, and I think he's actually the most expensive option.
And he should be. FanDuel. He should listen. Like, I watched a breakdown of this fight just because I didn't know much about the other guy, and like, this is pretty much one of those matchups where like if Kizriev doesn't win, like it's kind of ridiculous. Like Kizriev is I think he's a really great grappler. And all of Dennis's like wins are like first and second round KOs, and all of his losses are like submissions and those types of grind out fights, which he's gonna get with Kizriev.
There's just so much like paths to victory for Kizriev.
Yeah,
like, he's gonna. He'll likely be more. He'll likely be more than. Actually, I don't know for sure. I'm actually really interested to see if he's gonna end up being more than Manofiro or not. Because if he's not, then you're just.
That one,
I really don't see how you can
pick it. Just pick it. I think he'll win by finish. Honestly, I think he'll finish this guy. The guy he's fighting, I think, is 10-5 too. And
coming
he's like
in on short notice too. It's like
I just like I don't know. When I see that
minus 850 money line.
Well, like when I see that Dennis, or when I hear, I should say that Dennis lost like pretty much all of his fights, like in the way that Kizriev wins most of his fights. It's just like. Stylistically, you gotta be crazy to think that the other guy's
Vegas thinks the most likely finish for Kizriev is by submission.
Yeah, that's fair. It should be. I mean,
minus 120.
If Dennis gets a finish, it'd be by knockout, but I just can't see it happening. Like this is a puncher's chance. That's what it is.
Extreme odds I'm looking at for Dennis.
When I heard like how this fight was,
this is the guy I was talking about when it's like when I was trying to talk about Gutierrez, like. Solid underdog.
Yeah, this is an underdog. It's not even. Don't even bother. It's like the chances of it are so low.
He's not in the DraftKings player pool right now, but he doesn't even really need to be in.
I don't like that. Like I always say though, like MMA is MMA, and because of that, like anything can happen. Anybody can beat anybody because of stupid circumstances. I can't. Like I just don't see it. It's a puncher's chance, like I always say, for someone who I think is pretty much
everyone
better.
has it, but
yeah, exactly. He can win because of that. That's about it.
Yeah, we'll see. Like once he gets out into that,
we didn't get into Bruno Souza versus Saldana, right?
We didn't, and it's another pretty
What do you think?
But it's a close one, really close one, and
they're different. They're actually I noticed they're different prices.
Different prices on both sides. I actually like Souza here, and. I just don't think Saldana's gonna do like enough. First of all, he's the more expensive of the two on DraftKings. He's 83, which is fine. I just rather you got Dvorak for only $100 more.
Yeah.
Bajari for only $200 more, and then a bunch of guys we haven't even really talked about yet. And then Matt Barnes is even cheaper.
I personally have
Such a
Saldana.
weird
I
spot.
just don't like this
You think-
fight. That's just what it is for me. Like, I don't like, not because of the matchup. Like, I think it'll be a
For
good
me,
fight.
it's
but-
like I don't. This is why I kind of like put this one off. I wasn't even really planning to get that much into this one.
I just
but
saw it and I was like, we could probably get it out, talk about it real quick, just what we think, and then get
like,
it.
If I like Susie here as who's actually Saldana's the favorite here, which it's not by it's not by that much, but
Yeah, it shouldn't be. Like, it's an
I
interesting
see-
matchup.
I see either one winning. Yeah, Saldana's a plus 200 on DK to win by decision. Souza plus 150, and
I think
that's
just the
pretty much
story
it.
of this
Like-
fight is just for me at least, like, Bruno Souza fights in kind of like like he bounces in and out of range and like kind of uses his footwork and picks people apart like from the outside. And Saldana, he has like a longer reach. So for the reason why I have Saldana is just because I don't think that Souza's going to be able to close the distance very easily. But it's just like either way though, I just don't see much value in it. And obviously you seem to agree with me.
yeah.
So we could just go past this one. But I just figured obviously it's worth noting at least.
If I'm gonna put, I'm probably just gonna put on the guy, which it looks like Saldana's the guy I'm getting, except on DraftKings. So once again, you got one of these like just pricing like
Yeah, it's just a bad price. Just like the matchup.
It was just weird to see $15 on FanDuel for Saldana. I mean,
Maybe. I mean, I don't know.
But no, Souza's only 17 more. He's the favorite. I think that's just kind of like just go with that there. See how they know. But it's a fight to look at the numbers for. See how
I think we might have.
But yeah, I mean, there's.
There's
was.
God, we actually missed a few. No,
I did. Yeah, exactly.
There's a couple actually. Worth noting.
We should like. If you want to touch on Sarah McMahon and Carol Hosa real quick.
What do you think of that?
Carol Hosa is another like one of these top prize fighters that is flying under the radar a little bit.
I agree. Honestly, I do agree.
$8,900 price tag on DK. She's minus 200 to beat Sarah McMahon.
I think Carol's just a lot more well-rounded.
Yeah,
that's just what it is. And Sarah McMahon, like, she's not very comfortable on the feet. So I think that her only way to win is wrestling, and I think Carol knows that. So that's why I think Carol's just kind of not like really a lock, but like I could see it. Like there's a very easy path to victory.
Yeah, once again, plus one.
Not that any of it is easy, but you get what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. Sure. So once again, which is weird because I just thought about Neil Magny being a pretty good cash game play. You got Rosa, who's literally only $100 more, who's another like really. It's like this upper 8K mid-range, upper 8K range where like you get these like pretty.
They're like more low key options though.
Exactly.
Too. There's a few low key options.
I want to get into another one real quick, and it's Mark D. Keish and Borsch.
I think it's Mark Giacasey. I don't know.
Mark Giacasey.
Yeah, I struggled with that one at first.
Vyacheslav Borchet.
Yo, my boy Slava Claus. What are the prices on this though? I'm actually curious.
I like. Well, Borsch was 87. I think it's
Giacasey.
Giacasey 75. So it's quite.
I wish Slava Claus is getting slept on, honestly, because
dude, I agree. I like Slava Claus quite a bit.
This fight, because like Giacasey, he's like a really good striker, and he's got like very like diverse striking. But I think that Slava Claus is going to be able... By the way, I'm calling him Slava Claus because I have no idea how to say his name. I think it's like Borchia or something, but like I just like...
One of the shows I watched too was talking about... He was just saying the same thing as the nickname or whatever, so I'm going with it.
Yeah, but it's just... I think that Giacasey, he might start off like kind of strong, but he kind of tends to like trail off. Not even really because of cardio as much, more just because he gets kind of like sloppy. And I think when he gets sloppy, that's when Slava Claus is going to land one of these bombs that he has on.
No, I'm saying I don't think Borges. I don't think his power isn't even just a problem for D.
He just has really good timing. Like that's like what. And I think
it's a problem for. I think it's a problem for the entire division. Honestly,
he's really, and they're giving him a push. Like he hasn't fought anyone this good like at his division. So like Giacasey's a nice little step up. And I think he has the potential to knock him out. Honestly, what are what's like the odds for Slava Claus by KO TKO?
It's easily the most likely. It's a +1. He's +130. To win by knockout.
Yeah, there you go.
Once again, like that's just the kind of value just, and for 8,700 on DK, you just kind of just, I won't say as much as cash game lock button as Curtis Blades maybe. Mm-hmm.
Just because he's like more unproven, that's like my thing. But if you think he's gonna get a finish, then I think it would be worth it. But if you don't think he's gonna get a finish, maybe not. Because there's other people on the card, who are gonna provide those results. If you don't think he will,
I like Sly, and then even on for decision, he's a minus 145. That's his money line. He's a plus 400 to win by decision. Like I said,
that's not too bad. Actually,
his most likely path is by
I think it's
finishing.
Knockout,
by knockout.
I think it'll be like a later round knockout. I saw this one around there when we were looking at it. What's the numbers looking like on Ilir Latifi versus Alexei
so
Oleinik?
that's pretty much like the last of these upper AK guys that I was talking about, which is I think it's such a strong range this week. And it's fun because we just went consecutive. Or no, we started with Neil Magny, but Rosa 89, Magny 88, Slava Claus 87, and then Ilir Latifi 86, and. Once again,
that's what I think.
Once again, I agree with it. I have no qualms with it whatsoever. I think Ilir Latifi. This is like a really just questionable matchup for Alexei Oleinik. I think
that he could win by submission. Obviously, like he could win by submission in every single one of his fights. But I think that like Ilir Latifi, especially being someone who's fought at light heavyweight for so long, he's so much faster. And I don't know how much
faster,
younger, but he's younger.
Agile. He's obviously just a better striker.
I think he'll probably win this by knockout, honestly.
Plus 175 to win by knockout or TKO.
Yeah, I saw people saying that like his striking isn't that good. But I'm like, it doesn't have to be. Like it's
it doesn't have to be. He's facing Alexei Oleinik, and
he's got enough power that he'll get away with it. I think
it's just so funny too, because like. This guy, Ilir Latifi, he hardly even like has a freaking neck.
Yeah, so like, where is he gonna get choked? How's he gonna get Ezekiel if he's got nothing to choke?
Gonna get a hold?
He's a very small guy. Like, he was undersized even at like light heavyweight, I think. But like at heavyweight, man, I think the speed aspect is really gonna help him in this fight in particular, just because Oleinik is so like old at this point.
Yeah, man.
But Ilir Latifi by knockout. That's how I see it.
Knockout minus 200 money line favorite. And
any more after that? Is that
not really? To be honest, we pretty much went through everything. We're just waiting on the Kizriev and Dennis fight to be added in DraftKings.
Pick Kizriev, man. Pick Kizriev. I'm telling you.
Honestly,
if I'm wrong, I'm sorry, but from what I'm hearing,
I think how it works is like he's gonna be put back in at the same price, so whatever his price was before his opponent had to step out, had to withdraw. It's probably going to be what it is,
just everything about this matchup.
And if it's cheaper than Mano Ferrell, just
honestly, that might we were talking about Askarov before. This one might be my lock of the night. Honestly,
easily,
if we had to pick one,
easily, man. If it's pretty much one of those not including this fight, what would be your lock of the night?
Yeah, honestly, I think these matchups it's just tough for the other guy. You know what I mean? I don't see it unless he wins by flash knockout. But
I think we could see a lot of different type of finishes on this card.
I think it'll be a fun one. And those low-key ones, kind of like this one, are usually the ones that end up being the most fun. Mm-hmm. So,
like I said, I love this 8K. Obviously, when you got a guy like Curtis Blades in the spot he's in, and Askarov as well, obviously. But they're lower 9K. A Mano Ferrell, I don't need to get to. Kizriev is going to be really hard to get away from as long as he's not
$1 million. I think about him, too? I think that he'll be a more low-key pick, too. Because I don't think a lot of people really know much about him.
I don't know. I think it's...
You think?
It's just...
Well, maybe because the person he's fighting now. Yeah. Now because he's fighting this.
So it's just... You look at these odds, too. It's man, how does he possibly... I mean, honestly, you're rostering him... You're rostering, expecting a knockout.
Yeah, I still think you're going to, get, a lot out of him, even if he is popular, though.
Is that what you think the most likely path to victory for him is knockout?
No, I think submission for sure.
So the submission. I forget that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Like I said, the guy that they put him against, it's a tailor-made matchup. Mm-hmm. It's kind of messed up, honestly. But yeah, I just think that this is a lock. But I guess before we go, one last time we could just officially pick the main. I'm assuming you're picking Curtis Blades too.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Yeah, like I said, if Dawkins doesn't get him on the back foot early and wear him out, it's gonna be a long night for him. or short night. I mean, depending on what happens. Because like I said, Blades, he could win this fight in a multitude of different ways. I think he's very experienced, so
Yeah.
I think that'll help him in the end here. I like Chris Daukaus, though. I hope that
Me too.
he'll be able to either... I mean, I don't know if I'm rooting for Chris Daukaus. I like Curtis Blades, too, but, like, after, like I hope for the best for Chris Daukaus. You know what I mean?
Let's just hope he doesn't, like...
I hope he has a good showing, at least. You know what I mean? Like, I hope it's not as
hope...
one-sided as I think it's going to be. But... yeah, I mean, I think he's good, though. I think he'll be able to rebound from it. He's a smart guy. Like, he's a good fighter. I think he has holes that are easy to fix.
Yeah, that's as far as Curtis Blades go. Like this is a guy that could still very well like be world champion.
Yeah, he's hungry. He has not lost that hunger. Like,
I love it, dude.
I love that. Like you could very easily be discouraged if the UFC is kind of like sleeping on you a little bit, the way they kind of do to Curtis sometimes. But I think that he's one of the best fighters in that division, honestly, in the whole sport. So
agreed.
Yeah, but with that, I guess
nice little heavyweight.
Yeah, nice
to send us into
another heavyweight main event. 2 in a row, right?
How about it, dude? How about it? To send us into this little week break, and then we'll be right back.
Yeah, man, I'm excited for this card.
Can't wait. So, that being said, everybody, you know the drill. Enjoy. Have a great weekend. Make a lot of money. It's the motto here. And we will catch you, of course, on Monday for the recap.